I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch network. I want to show you Donald Trump's most dangerous statements yet. And I understand that that may sound like a superlative. Is this the most dangerous or more dangerous than the last one? He keeps saying dangerous things, but folks, this is existential to the United States of America. The fact that we have Donald Trump over and over again, I'm going to show you all the videos right now. I'll compare it to President Biden as well. The fact that you have Donald Trump cuddling up to Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un, President Xi of China, the Saudi Arabian regime, and he's just saying it out loud. And it is not normal. And one of the ways I want to show you that it's not normal is I want to compare it to the brilliant and powerful speech given by President Biden at the United Nations. You're not going to want to miss these clips. So the first clip I'm going to show you is from over the weekend, Donald Trump's interview with Meet the Press with Kristen Welker. And she says, well, Putin's bombed maternity wards. Do you welcome his support? And what do you think Trump's response is? Yeah, I had a very good relationship with him. Play the clip.
You about something President Putin said about you this week. I don't know if you've seen it. This was very recent. President Putin said, quote, "We surely hear that Mr. Trump says he will resolve all burning issues within several days, including the Ukrainian crisis. We cannot help but feel happy about it." What do you make of that? Do you welcome his support?
I like that he said that, because that means what I'm saying is right. I would get him into a room, I'd get Zelensky into a room, then I'd bring them together and I'd have a deal worked out. I would get a deal worked out. It would have been a lot easier before it started. Essentially, for 4 years, I kept them from doing anything because, you know what, I will tell you this, I've never said this, Ukraine was the apple of his eye. I said, don't ever do it, don't ever do it. He would have never done it. But again, oil prices. He wouldn't have done it because of me, but oil prices. The prices were so high that he had so much money, so he had all this money to prosecute the war. The one who drove up the prices was Biden.
Given that President Putin has bombed maternity wards, 20,000 kids kidnapped from Ukraine by Russia, mass graves, do you welcome his support, his all but endorsement?
Look, I had a very good relationship with him, and yet nobody was tougher on Russia than me. I stopped Nord Stream 2. You never heard of Nord Stream 2. That was the pipeline until I got involved. I said Nord Stream 2, people that were sophisticated, military people and political people, never heard of Nord Stream 2. I had it ended. The pipeline was dead. Biden came in and he approved it. There was nobody tougher than me with Russia, and yet I got along with Putin. Let me tell you, I got along with him really well. And that's a good thing, not a bad thing. He's got 1,700 nuclear missiles, and so do we. But look, that's a good thing. Getting along is okay, but
All right, now let's go through some of these other statements. Here, you have Donald Trump saying that he had a very good relationship with Kim Jong-un, who's not very happy with President Biden. That's what Donald Trump wants you to know. That's a bad thing, that Kim Jong-un's upset at President Biden. Play this clip.
South Korea, we take care of their economy. We take care of everything. We take care of the military. They're right next door to Kim Jong-un. He and I have a very good relationship. People would say, it's not good to have a good relationship. Yeah, it's very good to have a good relationship. It really is. But he's not so happy with Biden. He says bad things about Biden. But what I really...
Here, this is the pro-fascist network, which refers to itself as Fox. This is Mark Levin, who talks like that. And here, Mark Levin saying, you've got a really fascinating letters here from Putin, Xi, and these maniacs. That seems to be a theme. Watch this clip.
Let me ask you a question about that. You have really fascinating letters in here from Putin, from Xi, from Un in North Korea, and I can go on and on. And what I noticed, there's a common thread. You had a personal relationship with every one of these leaders, whether they're genocidal maniacs, whether they're elected, like Abe of Japan, who was a close friend of yours and was assassinated, and I want to get into some of this. What would you say your foreign policy is? Because I think people keep projecting onto your foreign policy what it is that they think they want people to think your foreign policy is. What would you say it is?
So I think more than anything else, and it was a very personal relationship, and you know, it's sort of a weird situation. The tougher they were, the better I got along with them, and that's probably a good thing, because it was the tough ones that had the big, powerful countries, the ones that can do destruction.
Here, Donald Trump says that he is the apple of Vladimir Putin's eye. Play the clip.
We're going to do this. We're not going to do business. We'll go cold turkey if we have to. We're not going to do business. And they always relented. They always relented.
But again, you do negotiate from a position of strength, but you are, again, it's the art of the deal.
Yeah,
We're
but
now
eventually
talking
you don't
taxes and tariffs.
Eventually you don't have that strength, because the country becomes so weak that you no longer, we have,
Yes.
right? We have this country that is this big power, but it's not, it's losing everything. We're losing our dignity, but we're losing that big market. It has more power when you have it rolling like we had it rolling. So it loses that power. But the tariffs are great, not only for the dollar and all of those things that we know about that you and I like and understand better than most, but it's also good for keeping us out of wars. It's good. We can do a lot of power with that. There's a lot of power. You know, Putin would have never gone into Ukraine. But that was just on my relationship with him, my personality over his, would have never gone. I used to speak to him. It was the apple of his eye, but I said, don't ever do it. And it was, you know, tough stuff there, but he would have never done it. But he wouldn't have done it for another reason, and maybe this is even stronger. We, with this green energy, drove up oil, the oil price, so high, where he was getting $125 close a barrel, that he made so much money that he was able to go and prosecute the war.
This was from the midterms and the speeches Donald Trump would give when he said that he had a great relationship with President Xi, who's president for life. And Donald Trump says that he calls President Xi the king. Play the clip.
If necessary. When I went to China, because I actually, until the China virus came in, I had a great relationship with President Xi. He's now president for life. I call him king. He says, no, I am not king. I am president. I said, no, you're president for life. Therefore, you're the king as far as I'm concerned. But I had a great relationship with him. And I said to
This is at CPAC, which I guess they call themselves the Conservative Political Action Committee, which is not that at all. But here Donald Trump talks about, again, how well he got along with Putin. Play the clip.
I got along very well with Putin, even though I'm the one that ended his pipeline. Remember, they said, Trump is giving a lot to Russia. Really? Putin actually said to me, if you're my friend, I'd hate like hell to see you as my enemy.
This is what Donald Trump posted on his social media platform. And as one commentator said, if Putin had written this speech for him, could it be any more pro-Russia and against American interests? Watch Donald Trump attack NATO and praise Vladimir Putin. Play this clip.
At home, the State Department, the defense bureaucracy, the intelligence services, and all of the rest need to be completely overhauled and reconstituted to fire the deep staters and put America first. We have to put America first. Finally, we have to finish the process we began under my administration of fundamentally reevaluating NATO's purpose and NATO's mission. Our foreign policy establishment keeps trying to pull the world into conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia based on the lie that Russia represents our greatest threat. But the greatest threat to Western civilization today is not Russia. It's probably, more than anything else, ourselves and some of the horrible USA-hating people that represent us.
Here at his most recent speech, Donald Trump talks about how he told Kim Jong-un what beautiful shores he has and they should build condos together. Play the clip.
I went over there. You remember that? It was a very historic moment. Went over there. And I said to Kim Jong-un, you know, being a real estate guy, it's just sort of natural. I said, you have the most beautiful shoreline. Think of it. You're between China, Russia, and South Korea. Look at the beautiful shore. You could have the most beautiful condos that you've ever seen and become rich as hell. You don't have to live like you're living.
But he's a tough guy. He's a smart guy, and he just loves collecting nuclear weapons. That's what he does. He collects nuclear weapons, and we got along incredibly well once we met and once we started the whole thing. And we saved the Olympics in South Korea because nobody was going. Nobody wanted to be blown out of the stadium. And we came along. They actually participated in the Olympics. We had a great relationship, and it would have been great if we would have had a deal done long ago if the election weren't rigged.
Donald Trump calling the Saudi regime great people. Play the clip.
You take a look at Saudi Arabia. Look at what happened. They're great people. They wanted to help us. He goes over and gets a fist pump. You know what a fist pump means? Don't shake my hand because your hand's dirty. That's what a fist pump is. They got it. They were so insulted. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Oh, I don't want to shake your hand. Let's go fist pump.
Donald Trump complaining that he could have made so much money through deals with Saudi Arabia while in office. Play the clip.
Because I'm working for you. I'm not working for me. That I can tell you. I could have made so much. I could have. Sir, would love to do a deal in Saudi Arabia. Sir, would love to do a deal here or there. Would love to do a deal. I really can't do that. I'm president. Biden would do it. So we just, we did it right. We did the right thing. And I do it exactly that way again. I will do it that way again. Look, we have a very short period of time.
All right, now let's compare those clips to President Biden. Here's what President Biden said at the United Nations. Play the clip.
For the second year in a row, this gathering, dedicated to peaceful resolution of conflicts, is darkened by the shadow of war. An illegal war of conquest brought without provocation by Russia against its neighbor Ukraine. Like every nation in the world, the United States wants this war to end. No nation wants this war to end more than Ukraine. And we strongly support Ukraine in its efforts to bring about a diplomatic resolution that delivers just and lasting peace. But Russia alone bears responsibility for this war. Russia alone has the power to end this war immediately. And it's Russia alone that stands in the way of peace, because Russia's price for peace is Ukraine's capitulation, Ukraine's territory, and Ukraine's children. Russia believes that the world will grow weary and allow it to brutalize Ukraine without consequence. But I ask you this: if we abandon the core principles of the United States to appease an aggressor, can any member state in this body feel confident that they are protected? If we allow Ukraine to be carved up, is the independence of any nation secure? I'd respectfully suggest the answer is no. We have to stand up to this naked aggression today and deter other would-be aggressors tomorrow. That's why the United States, together with our allies and partners around the world, will continue to stand with the brave people of Ukraine as they defend their sovereignty and territorial integrity and their freedom.
Here's what Democratic Congressmember Jamie Raskin said about the Saudis giving Jared Kushner $2 billion. And by the way, Jared Kushner was one of the top American advisors, even though he couldn't get a security clearance. Donald Trump made him the top advisor to the Middle East. And MBS, the leader of Saudi Arabia, bragged about having Kushner in his pocket, and also bragged about potentially getting a kill list from Kushner. Watch Real Leadership here by Democratic Congressmember Jamie Raskin.
There's a paper trail here that this was a wire deal for the former senior advisor and the son-in-law of the ex-president, who had been quite favorable to the Saudis.
Yeah, and, all that I said to Chairman Comer was, I was glad what he said on Sunday, which is he didn't disagree with our concerns about this. Let's write together to try to get the answers from Jared Kushner, who has otherwise been stonewalling us for an 8-month period. His lawyer said they had nothing to hide. Well, then give us the documents so we can figure it out. I mean, he was a high-ranking official in the Trump White House. He wasn't just a relative. He wasn't just somebody in his family. He was leading U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. And we want to know what did Saudi Arabia get out of it such that he felt it was so important to rush back to America from Saudi Arabia to start his firm the day after the Trump administration ended and then walk away with this $2 billion, which was carefully hidden for a while, but now it has come to light.
And I want you to watch this. Democratic Congress member Jared Moskowitz also calling out the hypocrisy by MAGA Republicans and how dangerous they are. Play the clip.
Heard a lot about the Bidens, the Biden family, Biden associates, right? Bidens, plural, the S. What does the apostrophe mean? But not Joe Biden. Didn't hear a lot about Joe Biden. Why? Because he didn't do anything. This has nothing to do with him. You know, my colleagues talked about foreign countries, foreign entities, trying to make it all scary for the American people. Of course, President Trump got $5.4 million from the Chinese while he was president because they were leasing space in Trump Tower. He goes out and air kisses President Xi. Totally perfect. Jared Kushner gets $2 billion from the Saudis, even though he oversaw Mideast peace. Totally kosher. Ivanka Trump, she's doing business with the Chinese while she's working in the White House. Totally beautiful. Right? Why do I bring that up? They want to say you have credibility. The problem is they have none. They have no credibility. And because you're here at their behest, their lack of their credibility questions your credibility.
Folks, the behavior that you witnessed by MAGA Republicans, by Donald Trump, by Fox, by this infrastructure that's been created can only be referred to by what it is, objectively, fascism. That is what it is. That is an existential threat to our democracy. And by the way, I hear Fox and all these people and all legacy media, they want to go, oh, President Biden's old, this, that. The ageism is so disgusting. But you saw President Biden right there. You saw President Biden giving that speech at the United Nations. That's someone who's cool, calm, collective, intelligent, and that's what strength looks like. Like when I watch that, I think, America, what is it that you want from, do you believe a president's supposed to do WWE cosplay fascism and act like a maniac and post QAnon memes and embarrass themselves and the country every day? Like, do you realize what the job of the president is supposed to be? Because that's strength in President Biden. That's leadership. That's intelligence. That's someone who's wise, leads through actions. Could you imagine what Trump would have said at that event? And Trump wants to say, oh, the laughingstock. Absolutely not. When Donald Trump spoke in front of the UN, the whole crowd laughed at him. Remember? If you didn't, here's the clip.
Today I stand before the United Nations General Assembly to share the extraordinary progress we've made. In less than 2 years, my administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. Wherever you get audio podcasts, subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast and check us out. Patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a great day.
Hey, Meidas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.